what a game that was, and what a comeback. And then it all evaporated into nothing. 3-3 is finished at Bramall Lane. On to the goals. There's 6 to get through, so bear with me. The first one. Ball goes into the box after Phil Jones slips. And I thought Phil Jones had a good game up until then, to be fair. Ball goes in and Fleck gets a lucky touch on him. And it goes into the corner of the net. De Gea trying to make a save to keep it out. But he couldn't on the second attempt. Then it went 2-0 up. Wamba Krapa and Pereira cost us that there. Their play goes edge of the area and he has a shot. And it goes past David De Gea with ease. Tucked into that bottom right-hand corner. And then we saw a goal. Brendan Williams, technique, swings it, goes into the bottom corner. Then ball goes into the box. Daniel James does fantastic well to skip port forward. He puts it on the plate for Greenwood, who scores his first Premier League goal. And then Greenwood scores, and then Rashford scores. Loads to get through. Yeah, 3-2. Rashford obviously then crossing again to the box. And then the VAR controversy. For me, it should have stood. And it was 100% the right decision to do that. I'm not a fan of VAR because I watched a game a couple of years ago where in the League Cup semi-final, Chelsea versus Arsenal, I think there was a foul made by Victor Moses or vice versa, and it took about 3 minutes, I think it was Martin Atkinson as well, to make the decision, and they got it spectacularly wrong in terms of how late it was. You know, and in the World Cup it worked to perfection. The problem is the referees in the Premier League do not know what they're doing with the technology because they know nothing. Now that referee that refereed us, Wales obviously, against Hungary, that referee was superb. He was superb, and I think he should come into the Premier League. You know, so nobody can moan about that because it didn't even hit his hand, it hit his arm. You know, I got annoyed in the first half, which is away from VAR. Rashford, right, you could clearly see he was onside. I mean, just because, you know, a slow motion part of his foot goes forward when he's trying to go past the defender who's chasing him down, you know, that for me is legit. Nothing in that. You know, and it should have stood, and it did stood, the goal. So I don't know why certain people are going to moan about VAR. When they get it right, they get it right. Yeah, and there was a situation, obviously 4 they got wrong. The Dan James penalty kick against Norwich. Okay. Also, the foul that wasn't a foul. Michael Keane made against Brighton. There was the Sokratis who plays for Arsenal. I don't think I spelled that right, pronounced that right. And the one that Delafeu got a penalty kick from. That shouldn't have counted either. So VAR has its, you know, difficulties at times, but on that, it got a spot on and I have no complaints. Anybody who does complain about it has a lack of knowledge about VAR and a lack of knowledge about the way VAR is used. It's not as good as the first part. But Ollie's not going to get the sack. It's a draw. I don't know why he took off Martial. You know, he's going to play a dead rubber 11, isn't he? On Thursday against Stan, Rihanna, Nana, what's my name? So, at their own backyard. So, I don't know why he took Martial off. He thought the game was won. And yeah, it was actually reminiscent of Moisey. You know, you could say it was like, you know, the Fulham game where we put cross after cross after cross. We were going to get, you know, a 2-1 win, and then I think Darren Bent, I think he pops up and scores an equaliser. So, Ollie still needs to go. We're 9th. Sheffield United still above us, and before we kick a ball in earnest on the Sunday, we could be, 14th, as if results go against us before we play Aston Villa at Old Trafford. But it doesn't matter. The good thing about this is, though, we're back above Spurs, eh? Eh, Mourinhoites, eh? We're back above your main man, West Ham. And people are going over the top about oh, he won 4-0 at West Ham. 1, Pochettino a couple of years ago went there and scored 4, okay? Second of all, Roberto was beaten by his near post. He should not have let that go past him. You know, so for all of Ollie's faults, and he has loads of faults, he's back above Mourinho, and that is pleasing for everybody who can't stand the Portuguese pulis, as he's being christened overall. I thought Maguire was terrible. He got bullied all day. Fred was poor. Every time I look at Fred and it's on the middle of the space on the pitch, I'm waiting for him to thread a through ball. He doesn't do it. He just doesn't do it. And that is the frustration. But we almost got a win. We got a draw. But if you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to get sacked, then it's not going to happen. Look at Marco bloody Silva. How is he still in a bloody job? I mean, they lost yesterday to bloody Norwich away from home, or at home, and he's still in a bloody job. You have to wonder what's going on at Everton. You know, does he have some dirt on Mashiri, or is it the other way around with Bill Kenwright and all that? That seems strange. If he doesn't get sacked, then, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. You know, it's weird why it's just changed for me, but, you know, I'll be back if he does get the sack, obviously. If he does, hopefully, Emery could get the sack and Pellegrini could get the sack as well. So it's not ideal to get a draw, but all it's going to go nowhere, unfortunately. We're going to have to ride it out. But Moisey was sacked in April. Let's not forget about that. You know, after we lost 2-0 against Everton at Goodison Park. I don't know when we play Everton at Goodison Park. But yeah, so... And obviously he's going to win a couple of games only anyway. Moisey won a couple of games. He beat, what, West Ham away, wasn't it? At Upton Park. You know, we beat Newcastle, didn't we? Juan Mata hat-trick. We beat... who else did we beat? Aston Villa on the Swansea, beg your pardon. 4-1 up this. So we're going to win. And let's not forget as well that Moisey also got to a League Cup semi-final. We lost against Sunderland over 2 legs. So, yeah, there's still time for him to get sacked. If he doesn't get sacked at Christmas, he can towards the end of the season. But he's going to give himself another week. But that's about it, really. But for VAR, it was right to stand. And if anybody who moans about it, get your eyes tested. Go to Specsavers on Monday morning. Get your eyes tested because you have a lack of knowledge about how it works if you thought that wasn't the correct decision, because it 100% was. So that's it. 2 points dropped, but Ollie's not going to get the sack, and I'm afraid it's going to happen, but not yet. I'm afraid it's not going to happen. It should happen, but it's not yet.